Hello everyone, Richter here and welcome back to another Torchlight Infinite video. Today I wanted to bring you the upgrades that were made to the build um, to start farming T8 a little bit more comfortably. And right as I say that died, of course, that is bound to happen, but it is. It isn't too bad, trust me. So what we're doing right now is we're still using the Aember Winged, but I really wanted to start farming T8 because that's where you're gonna make the money. T7 is just that. And currently we're going on about 2 billion, maybe 3 billion bursts, but I would say the regular average is like 2 billion. You have to be careful with these big mechanic monsters. Also, I need to get like cap my resistances still, so there's still ways to go about getting a little bit more defense to make it more consistent. Damage is okay, not something to use yet, but at least something you can boss rush in, which is exactly what I need at this point. I'll probably recommend you to do some sort of beacon farming because let me see what's the price of it at the moment. 3 FE. It's not too bad, but still you want to have some form of beacon sustain to ease up the burden of having to buy them. So what did we change? First of all, I know that a lot of people don't like this. I'm going to remove the Missville effect. I like it, but some people don't. What did we change? What did we change? I forgot. This is the previous setup. Okay, I already have Fiend Crown and Golden Touch. Okay, so current gear is this. So first of all, minion. We're doing the Aember Winged Beast. This minion is similar to the Ichi Storm, and they are kind of like spider tanks. They do this thing here, they throw the projectiles around and do an AoE damage. And this is the damage that we're currently doing, by the way. In bursts, once you have your cooldowns back, it goes a little bit up and then it comes down, back down, but you know, that's on average. Okay, so it's Aember Winged Beast. I got a 2-set protocol, a 2-protocol item with Critical Strike and Agile Program. Agile Program is not ideal, Critical Strike is quite good. What I'll tell you is go to the module sheet and look at all the options there. There are several ones that you can get, because if I tell a combination, then everyone's gonna look for that one, and you're gonna not be able to find that one, and you know, it leads to frustration. So just look at anything that gives damage, basically, and most of the things here are decent. We have 3 precise auras now. Precise projectiles I just bought early because this usually ramps up in price quite high. Cruelty is dirt cheap, and same thing about Radical Order. Now, instead of Cruelty here, this is the actual price, by the way. It's not that much. Instead of Cruelty, you could do same thing here, like 3 FE, right? Okay. Instead of Cruelty, you can do Precise Frigid Domain. It's about the same damage. Or Precise Weapon Amplification, because the base damage of the minions is physical as well. They're all kind of the same. Now I'm doing Rising Edge here because I'm trying out a setup with kind of hybrid Energy Shield or Energy Shield Life. I'll probably go full Energy Shield sooner rather than later. I got myself some mediums because I'm farming Missville. but you can still use preparation here because these mediums are expensive. Preparation, for instance, is like 50 FE, I think. Yeah, 75, 80 FE, but you know, I'm using it. I like it. Elite is not too expensive, and this increases the consistency of the uptime of Machine Army by quite a lot. The other thing that you can use here instead of Rising Edge, which might be more consistent actually, is Elemental Shock. Okay, for supports, you get this compressed module. It's like 15 FE and it's a 30% damage multiplier. The other alternative is using Activation Medium Minion. If you are really bothered about having to summon the minions at the start of every zone, then you go for that. Otherwise, you use this one, and this is much cheaper than the Activation Medium Minion for the same multiplier. A Maniacal Army for command is almost unbeaten, and these supports are all kind of set in stone. Element Termination for Dirty Tricks is just a no-brainer to use. Elemental Fusion, because all the elements are being applied by the Frost Magus, that means that these minions can use support. And remember that they have 100% conversion from physical to cold, so they are doing full cold damage. Supports here, nothing spectacular here, nothing really relevant. Hero memories and traits. I tried Radiation Field. A lot of people are running with this. It is likely the case that at 4 auras, Radiation Field takes over Charge Forward. For me, every time I've tried Charge Forward, it just feels better. Hero memories, you want to get this to level 30. There are two things that I see people doing here, which is actually just one. Most people are doing you get an extra hero memory, which is most likely better than this. But you know, this is what I hit, so that's what I'm using. But if to be optimal, you get the mod here that allows you to equip a memory into this slot. And once you get this to level 30, you get 5% additional damage. I mean, the memory to level 30, it will give a level to this trait, so you get 5% additional damage. And you get whatever stats you have on your memory, so you can get some extra movement speed. You can use one of these with minion attack and cast speed, or you can use it for more energy shield. Yeah, here, kind of, I always like to run movement speed. I don't really like running attack and cast speed, because mapping going faster is better. And this ones, I haven't rolled it because the material costs 2 FE. Now that I'm in T8, farming a little bit of T8 and in the mechanic, I would probably drop some of them and start one of the special affixes. These have very interesting options. For instance, I can get, for minions, they're only max elemental resistance is broken, aura effect really good, seal compensation, block ratio really good, although we don't have block caps at the moment, so probably not the best thing. Convert damage taken to something else, and command per second. So a lot of good options here. Then for the passives, God of Machines really hasn't changed that much ever since the campaign. I'm not doing Ice Arms yet. There's a few people that are doing the hammer. Which one is better at the moment? I'm not completely sure. I always find very difficult to run the test on which weapon is better, because it becomes so expensive and you're focused so much on progression that, you know, the test is just hard to do. But the hammer with the additional damage is certainly good. So if you have that, you will do isomorphic arms. The reason I went for double rods is because I can get this +1 synth troop modifier here, which also has an additional minion damage attached to it, and that allows me to drop the boss for rally, which is damage. And because I have it on the slates, I also don't have to grab these here. So this one remains the same. Machinist. So for machinist, you have I'm using I'm trying out between Dark Advance and Haze. Haze is more consistent high damage. Dark Advance gives you the advantage of basically switching, making your Empower skill also double as... Sorry, making your Mobility skill also double as an Empower skill. So Dark Advance is good for utility. Haze is just consistent more damage. And yeah, you this point you is mandatory. You really want this. And the +1 you really want. And minion attack and cast speed per command. We're hovering at 45 command at the moment. Warlock, I removed these points here and I put the points here to get the chance to deal damage in enemies, because I removed it from here after I got the ASL damage from the Slates. And on Leech, I'm doing this to be able to board the 3 hours and the Magus on life. If we go low life, then we will remove these points and put them somewhere else, like that or skill effect duration. And for the Slates, I bought myself a Brutality one. Minions, their base damage is physical, so that's why I'm going added physical instead of adding elemental. But you have many options here. One of the obvious ones is if you're doing ISO arms, you can get Mighty Guard, really good. The other one could be there's a lot of good ones. These minions deal cold damage, so here in Prophet, Frozen Lotus, 25% minion cold damage, really good. But yeah, Brutality for now. The other option I've seen, just for you to be aware of it, if you look at the minion goat, Big Chungus, Moto 1 goat, he's doing the this is what Moto 2 does, is get command in all of these Slates. And I think he told me he's hovering around 50 to 60 command without running Maniacal Army. So that is also an option. Okay, we did passives, we did Slates. Rest of the Slates you can look in the code. Nothing special about them. No Kismets yet. No Fates. And the gear. Of course, the gear. So I bought myself a 3 attribute false god. We're doing Dex and Int, so you can buy any combination of it here. You can go double Int Dex or double Dex Int. Doesn't matter. Corrupted Bulwark for the transition to Energy Shield. This one is super cheap right now. I initially intended to do Martyr Staff, because Bulwark was like 500 FE last season at this point. But Bulwark is much cheaper than Martyr Staff at this moment, so we would go for this and just switch to Energy Shield. That's why I dropped these gloves, because they give life and they give an elixir, which I'm no longer going to be using. Maybe I still could, but Alloy Covenant is a very good defensive option. ES boots with +1 minion skill level. Ideally, what you want here is these boots, Mighty Vision, but you want them to be +1 minion skill level, otherwise there's point. And this is their current price. The armor mitigation penetration is also decent, but I kind of feel like if you're not gonna get the plus level here, then why even bother? So that's why I just went for +1 here. The ring is the same. Then for the weapons, I bought myself one with the additional minion damage sequence. You can also get minion crit as the base sequence. The idea here, it will just tier 1 this, and here we have the plus some other tier 1 affix. And yeah, modules, still testing out some of them. The other one that caught my Punisher seems good. I think already spoke about him in this video, but the clear really feels consistent, guys. Just need to figure out how to scale their damage properly. There is a very broken combo you can get with them, which will probably be super expensive, which Fearless program with the area program that gives them all the area scaling, and that will bring their damage up quite a bit. Regarding Lea Mechanic, I've been farming Misville because the league mechanic just doesn't feel too rewarding to me. But yeah, more on that on the next video. Let me know how your league is going. Of course, the build code is below, and remember that you can find my character here. You can find my character here, and then if you click follow here, I will now show up in your collection, and you can look at all the snapshots I create real time. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know how your league is going. If you found any interesting modules, also do let me know. I want to know, want to test. Anyway, thanks. Bye bye.